Gather round, dear souls. As the campfire spits and weaves a tale of despair turned to dawn, set in the blistering plains of the post-Civil War West, where the earth groans under oil-stained skies. Picture this: the prairie heaves like a weary elder, dust drifting slow and heavy, exhausted by years of flame and abandonment. The sun dips low, bleeding golden streaks across the horizon, as if weeping for a memory lost to time. A woman staggers alone, her shadow warped by heat and heartbreak. Her once cream gown, now caked with mud and crude oil at the knees, clings to her frame. Her hands, raw and calloused, clutch a tarnished locket not for hope, but a reflex born of habit. Marianne Carver, 36, has ceased counting seasons since her husband vanished beyond the jagged peaks. 6 springs passed, or perhaps 7. The wind knows the truth, but it guards its secrets with a whisper. They'd fled East Tennessee's poverty, lured west by pamphlets promising fertile land and freedom, a chance to root deeper than their past. Daniel, a soft-spoken carpenter with sawdust tangled in his beard, carved her a rocking chair before their cabin rose. She clung to that chair, to him. But when raiders descended, no warning pierced the silence. No law stood guard. The prairie chose no side. Daniel raised his hands to plead, but thieves scorn gentle words. Marianne recalls the door's thunderous slam, the icy gun barrel kissing her neck, then ash and ruin. 3 days later, Gideon Holt, an oil baron with a serpent's grin, found her blood-crusted, dazed, and proclaimed her rescue. With silken lies, he offered a room in his sprawling, rig-riddled estate, food from his table, work for shelter. Yet his gaze slithered over her, raising gooseflesh. That first night, he dubbed her my fragile widow, a title heavier than any shroud. Holt's domain was no sanctuary, but a fortress atop oil derricks draining the earth's veins. Sulfur and decay choked the air. He ground cigars beneath his heel like crushed insects, polished his boots with spit and venomous threats. His hands, unnaturally soft for a self-made king, hovered too close. He never struck her no need. His patience was a predator's game, twisting kindness into bondage. She cooked, scrubbed, laundered linens reeking of smoke and greed, served guests in the parlor with eyes dulled by sorrow. No iron shackles bound her, yet every wall was a prison. Once, she bolted for the train depot, only for one of Holt's men to drag her back by her braid. He smirked. "You're not fit to roam free yet." Marianne Bell. She ceased her escapes. Fleeting kindnesses emerged Tommy Reed, a near-deaf stable lad, clumsy as a newborn foal, slipped her biscuits wrapped in a kerchief, his grin bright as sunrise. And Lila, the upstairs madam, weathered by 20 years in corsets and cruel men, gifted her lace from New Orleans, murmuring, "Hold tight, you're a woman, not just a wraith in his lair. Even wraiths feel." One dusk, Marianne stood at the rig's edge, the drills snarling like starved wolves, the sky bruised a sickly purple. She pressed the locket inside, a faded, cracked daguerreotype of Daniel's shy smile, eyes half-lidded, now a stranger's face warped by time. A bell clanged Holt's summons. She lingered, letting the breeze cradle her, imagining herself a hawk, ragged, fierce, airborne. Inside, Holt toasted 2 sunburned traitors in the dining hall, their stench a mix of sweat and ambition. Marianne poured whiskey with a steady hand. One man's stare lingered on her collarbone. Holt reclined, chuckling. She's mine. Snatched her from death's grip. Loyal, eh? Marianne. She stayed mute, refilled a glass. Later, she perched on the back stoop, knees tucked, stars shy behind oil smoke. Her fingers traced the wood, longing for Daniel's warm skin, his cedar pine scent, his hum while mending tools. No tunes since. Tommy shuffled out, offering a biscuit wrapped in cloth and a carved bone eagle charm. Her pulse quickened. Tommy. Know where he is? A slow nod. Can you reach him? Another nod. She pressed the charm into his palm. Tell him I'm here, but not Holt's. Don't take from anyone. He melted into the night. The next day crawled, thick with heat. Holt demanded she wear an emerald dress, sleeves tight, neckline low. She complied, eyes unyielding. Serving lunch, the trader's hand brushed her hip. She met his gaze, voice a frozen blade I'd decay beside you before touching you. He laughed, mistaking it for jest. Holt's jaw clenched. That night, hooves thundered with intent. Marianne reached the parlor as the door burst open, wind heralding Kweo, a Comanche chief. No war paint, no feathers, just dust and mountain quiet. 3 warriors flanked him, silent, vigilant. The room shifted, sensing its true heart. Holt strode forward, incredulous. What's this Kweo set down a leather pouch, spilling furs, silver beads, and a weathered cavalry medal? A relic, he said, voice steady as stone. It holds meaning for her. Holt sneered. You think you can buy her? She's not chattel. She's not yours, Kweo countered, his tone a rolling thunder. She stays by your will, not hers. That ends now. He turned to Marianne, his river-deep eyes a silent question. She stepped forward, each breath snapping chains. I want to go, she said, voice soft yet resounding. Holt raised a hand not to strike, but to warn. Cross that door, and don't return. I'll ensure it. She saw his hollow gold, strode past unflinching. Kweo didn't guide or lift, just stepped aside. They rode under a waxing moon, hooves a lullaby ending her torment. They camped beneath a star-strewn sky, a small fire warming hands and dreams. Kweo offered a blanket, sitting a pace away, the silence holy. Why, she asked. He stared into the flames. The world forgot you. I didn't. Where are we going? Somewhere quieter than your scars. She lay down, the ground no longer a grave, but a cradle. She dreamed not of flight, but roots. Dawn broke gently beyond freedom's rim. The village hugged a pale stream, homes of wood and hide melding with the earth. Barefoot children darted. Elders wove corn into golden braids, no noise, just life. Marianne dismounted, hesitant, untaught in welcome. Kweo introduced her simply. This is Marianne. She stays. An elder with obsidian eyes offered water. Another draped a woven shawl over her. No past probed. Only, are you weary? She was and admitted it without shame. Days softened her. Her cracked hands healed gardening with Lita, an 11-year-old with a laugh like a lark. She stitched with the women, her seams steadying, learned herbs for bruises, flowers for hummingbirds. She watched Kweo near, but not always close, checking traps with the young, speaking with elders in a voice that listened more than led. One evening, she found him carving by the fire, shaping bone into a bear. Always alone with that, she asked. He glanced up, Some things thrive in silence. She sat, knees drawn. I hummed baking bread before it all broke. He smiled faintly, handed her the warm bear. Her throat tightened. Their talks unfurled slowly. Kweo shared his lost wife and son, felled by winter fever. His voice a wind-shifted tale. She placed her hand on his, not to comfort, but to say, I hear you, and I carry my dead too. They mended baskets, left small gifts, dried tobacco by her tent, though she never smoked. Her hum returned, swelling one afternoon as Lita and others joined. But shadows lingered. One morning, a dream of oil smoke and shattered glass woke her. Rusk's voice haunted her. She fled to the woods, screaming until her voice cracked. Kweo waited, offering tea with honey. Sometimes rage is grief unnamed, he said. She nodded. I had a name, buried under his labels. He tilted his head. What name do you want? She gazed at her hands, then the sky, one unafraid. He touched her collarbone lightly. You've worn it. Weeks passed. An elder, Nima, caught her watching Kweo across the fire, chuckling. Your hearts align, though your feet lag. Marianne blushed. Not like that. Nima smiled. Love isn't always loud. It's how you know it's real. One dusk, by the river, Kweo stacked stones. What's this, she asked. A place for memories I've released. She added a stone. He saw the shift, not a choice, but recognition. That night, they slept near, hands entwined, not passion, but peace. Love, she realized, could be stillness, a shelter through storms. Morning brought birdsong and dew. Children giggled, berry-stained. Marianne braided her hair with clean fingers. Kweo joined her, silent, offering roasted maize. I won't forget myself, but I won't drown in sorrow, she said. He nodded. Then build where softness grows. She believed him. Then the wind turned south, hot and restless. Trees quaked, birds stilled, horses snorted. Marianne stood by her wild garlic patch, soil warm and alive. Lita's laugh rang, but Marianne's spine tensed. Riders appeared, dust trailing like a thread. One in a faded blue coat, buttons dulled but glinting. The other, Holt, smug as ever, beard trimmed, eyes colder. The village gathered, wary. Nima stepped forward, staff in hand. Kweo stood beside, enigmatic. Marianne planted herself between the children and the intruders, unshaken. Holt dismounted, eyeing the village like a prize. Well, damn. Thought you'd vanished forever. Marianne. She held silent. He stepped closer. I'm here for legal claim. You fled without leave makes you a runaway. I own you by contract. The village's gaze bolstered her. I was never yours, she said. I broke those chains. The soldier handed Nima a scroll. By state law, she's Holt's dependent. Her leaving was illegal. Marianne's voice steadied. He forged those. No consent. No pay. I was held. Nima dropped the paper. This isn't a courtroom. This is sovereign land. Her word outweighs your law. The soldier sweated. Holt scoffed. She's nothing. Who'll believe her? Kweo advanced. Calm. Come all you like. But forget who listens. He revealed the medal. This belonged to a man who fought for peace, not power. His widow gave it to me. Use it to remind men of honor. He dropped it. Remember honor. Gideon Holt faltered, eyeing the village's resolve. You chose this over silk. Safety, Marianne stepped to Kweo. I chose truth. I'd starve free than feast caged. Lita took her hand. Others followed a wall of unity. Holt muttered, retreated with the soldier, dust swallowing them. That night, a fire warmed, not warred. Marianne, shawl-wrapped, felt whole. Kweo moved among the circle, joy shared. I never thanked you, she said. You did, he replied. Each time you stayed, I thought love was rescue, she mused. It's walking beside when rescue's done, he said. Their hands clasped, certain as rain on earth. Nima rose, staff raised. We marry with truth, time, choice. Speak or stay silent, both are right. Marianne met Kweo's eyes. I'm not buried anymore. You never were just waiting to bloom, he said. They tied a red yarn cord, not bondage, but a vow to the land's choice. Laughter and songs filled the night. Marianne danced with Lita, bare feet on dust and memory. Later, alone under the stars, Kweo joined her with warm cider. I dreamed of escape, she whispered. Now I dream of planting. He smiled. Then grow a garden where sorrow rests and joy rises. Elsewhere, Holt might boast of nearly owning her, but his tales rang hollow. Hers whispered through wind and flame, by those who endured.